Meet John Law. In 1719, he was the richest man in the world. He owned a territory in America bigger than most European countries, controlled a nation's entire money supply, and had the King of France on speed dial, or the 1700s equivalent, a carriage on standby. But by 1720, he was fleeing Paris in a disguise, hunted by a mob that wanted to turn his very expensive wig into a floor mat. He didn't lose a war, he didn't lose a throne, he did something much more modern. He invented a get-rich-quick scheme so big it broke a superpower. How did one gambler convince an entire nation that paper was gold? And why does his 300-year-old failure look exactly like your favorite crypto rug pull? To understand the chaos, we have to look at France in 1715. King Louis XIV, the Sun King, had just died. He left behind a glittering palace at Versailles and a national debt so massive it would take 3 billion livres to pay off. For context, France only brought in about 145 million a year. France was essentially a billionaire whose credit cards were all declined at a Wendy's. Enter John Law. He was a Scottish gambler, a convicted murderer. He killed a guy in a duel over a girl, classic, and a math genius. He had a radical idea. France's problem wasn't that it was poor, it was that it was clunky. Back then, money meant heavy gold and silver coins. It was hard to move, easy to steal, and limited by how much shiny dirt you could dig out of the ground. Law told the French regent, stop using heavy rocks, use paper. It's light, it's fast, and, most importantly, I can print as much as you need. Here's how Law's infinite money glitch worked. It was a 3-step masterstroke. Step 1. The bank. Law sets up a bank that issues paper notes. He promises you can exchange them for gold at any time. People love it. It's like switching from a bag of bricks to a sleek credit card. Step 2. The hype. Law buys the Mississippi Company. This company had the exclusive rights to trade with Louisiana, which at the time was basically half of the modern United States. Step 3. The swap. Law tells the public, don't hold government debt. Trade it in for shares in my company. We're going to find mountains of emeralds and gold in the new France. Think of the Mississippi Company like a tech startup with zero revenue, but a killer pitch deck. Law began a marketing blitz. He sent prisoners to Louisiana to settle it, then paid people to march through Paris with mining tools to make it look like they were headed for the gold mines. The stock price went from 500 livres to 10,000 livres in less than a year. People were getting rich overnight. A literal chimney sweep became a multi-millionaire. The word millionaire was actually coined specifically to describe people during this bubble. Law was a god. He was the CEO of the bank and the CEO of the company. He was the Federal Reserve and Amazon combined into one guy. But here's the thing about just trust me economics. Eventually, someone asks to see the receipts. In early 1720, a few high-ranking nobles got suspicious. They looked at the maps of Louisiana and realized the only thing being exported was malaria. They decided to cash out. When the Prince de Conti turned up at Law's bank with 3 wagons to haul away his gold in exchange for his paper shares, the public panicked. Wait, if he's taking the gold, is there any left for me? Law tried everything to stop the bleeding. He banned the ownership of more than 500 livres in gold. Imagine the government making it illegal to own cash. He devalued the stock by half. He printed more paper money to try and buy back the stock to keep the price up. This created hyperinflation. The paper money became worthless. A loaf of bread that cost 1 livre suddenly cost 50. The millionaires found themselves holding piles of paper that weren't even good for toilet paper, which hadn't been invented yet, so things were extra bleak. The collapse was total. By the end of 1720, the Mississippi Company shares were back to their original junk value. John Law fled to Venice with nothing but a few diamonds and his math skills. But the ripple effects lasted for decades. Trust was dead. The French people hated paper money and banks so much that France stayed behind the rest of Europe financially for a century. The crown was broke. This financial scar led directly to the mountain of debt that eventually triggered the French Revolution. You could argue that Law's innovation eventually cost the French king his head. We see this cycle every 50 years. A genius finds a way to turn hype into liquidity, the public gets FOMO, the price goes to the moon, and then gravity. Whether it's 18th century Louisiana gold or 21st century Bored Ape JPEGs, the mechanics of the finance bro never really change. John Law wasn't trying to destroy France. He genuinely believed that money was just a tool of confidence. And he was right. Modern economies run on paper and digital blips. His only mistake? He forgot that confidence is like a glass vase. It's beautiful until you drop it. He died in poverty in Venice, still convinced his math was right, and the world was just too uneducated to understand his vision. John Law's infinite money glitch ruined a nation. Today, we have the same influencers promising the same returns. So here's a question for you. Is an economy built on growth any more stable today than Law's paper dream in 1720? Or are we just waiting for the next Prince de Conti to call the bluff? Let me know in the comments. Are we in a bubble right now? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more history that repeats itself.